Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. I've had a crazy day at work and Christian is actually working late, so I thought what better opportunity to come home and film a video for you guys. It should be a really good one. Like 2 years ago, maybe even over 2 years ago, I filmed a video all about my event management degree and how it was going and what it involved and everything like that. And since then I have had like a constant flow of questions come in, which is great because I can help people, which is always the aim, and that's why I made the video in the first place, to kind of be like a little bit of info on a thing that's not really out there on YouTube for some reason. But yeah, I've had a constant flow of questions, nothing crazy, just like 2 messages like a month or something, but just like for 2 years, you know, they start to build up. So I thought rather than just answer everyone individually, which I've been doing, that I'd collate it all in one place, so I'd answer all your questions on here. So I'm going to go through everyone's DMs, so if you DM me, your DM might be in this video, but I'm going to go through all of them and kind of talk quite broadly on the subject that they're about, and obviously answer the question. But yeah, just kind of give you an overview about an event management degree, but also about like university in general. I feel like someone just knocked on my door. But yeah, just kind of give you an overview in general, but let's get started. I've tried to pick out ones which aren't too similar, so there's not too much of an overlap, but I mean, it's an event management degree, like how much can you talk about it? So the first person has said, is it a promising choice? I want to be confident enough in my decision before telling my parents. Like, are the degrees of events management worth it? So this is like the biggest question that everyone wants to know, is whether an events management degree is worth it, because it is one of those subjects that, like, you're not becoming a doctor or a lawyer or an architect or something, you don't need a degree, but it might be something quite nice to have in your belt. So I found, I'm 2 years into my events management degree, I'm going back in September to do my last year, so then I will have an events management degree. That's going to be said a lot this video, by the way, but I think it is worth it, in the sense that I think it really depends on the kind of person you are. I think it's worth it if you're quite an academic person, like I was myself throughout school. I was always like the goody two-shoes, wanted to like study, and I was very self-motivated to get the grades. If that's you, then yes, I do think it's worth it, because it kind of bumps you up a few tiers. So when I graduate with my degree, I won't be starting at like a waiter operation level, you know, I'll be like a couple of tiers up in whatever company I choose to go into, or I at least have the opportunity to do that, which is really nice. Whereas if you don't have a degree, maybe you're... I really feel like someone's at my door, but I'm pretty sure they're not. But yeah, maybe you're a bit more hands-on, you like to get involved, then don't do a degree, because you don't get that doing a degree. Events management can be very hands-on if you choose the operation side of it, whereas if you choose the planning and sales side of it, it's a lot more admin. Yeah, admin, like focused, I guess, which is the side I'm more interested in, because I'm more academic, if that's the right word. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, I'm more academically focused, so I guess I prefer doing like all of the forms and the sheets and the spreadsheets and everything like that, rather than like setting out the tables and bringing everyone in and serving their dinners and stuff. You know, it's just like very different. So it really depends on the kind of person you are and what you're hoping to get out of it. If you want to be operational, you want to be at the event doing the stuff, you do not need a degree, I'll put it out there. You will have to work your way up, but I think there's loads of opportunities to do that. I don't think that's particularly hard. But if you want to start off at like sales manager level, I would definitely suggest getting a degree, especially now that it's becoming more popular and more people are doing a degree in it. It is getting a bit more competitive, so I would say in that case it's definitely worth it to get a degree. But I think uni's great anyway, just degree not included. It's just a great experience, so I think uni's worth it either way. But again, depends if you're an academic person, because if you're not, you'd probably hate it. The next question was, did you join university straight out of high school? So, I'm just going to clarify. We don't have high school here in England. We have secondary school, which runs until we're 16, and then we have A-levels or college. You can choose one or two. It's like 2 different routes you can pick from, and they run until you're 18, and then you can choose to go straight into uni or do a gap year. I personally decided to go straight into uni, because I felt like if I took the time out of education, I wouldn't necessarily want to go back in. I feel like, because I like money, I like getting money, saving money, having money, and I feel like if I were to get a full-time job for a year, I'd have money, and I would not want to give that up to be a broke student that I am now. So I just knew that I wouldn't end up going to uni if I took a gap year. But part of me does regret it, because I feel like it might have made me realise that I didn't necessarily need the degree, and I could have found myself in a really good role and like 3 years ahead of where I am now. So I definitely think it's something to consider. I will say I don't think a gap year is great if you haven't got a plan. So if you're kind of winging it and just thinking, oh, I've got another year before I'll go to uni, I'll do it then, I'll just chill for now, I don't think that's the best idea. But if you've got a 9-to-5 job in an industry that you're interested in, or you're saving to go travelling, or you've got like a solid plan of stuff you want to do in that gap year, I think it's a great opportunity to do it. The only other real time you get that opportunity is when you finish uni, and who knows where you're going to be at that point. I'm hoping to do a bit of travelling around somewhere when I finish uni, because I will have kind of a gap that's reasonable to take. Like, I won't be in a job and be like, oh, by the way, I'm taking 4 months out, bye. So yeah, that's the only other opportunity you really have to do it, but it's so competitive to get graduate jobs and things like that. You might just want to get straight in there and get started if there's a role that you really like. So I would definitely consider it. Yeah, part of me does regret not doing a gap year, but at the same time I love uni, so I'm not too mad about it. That's my answer. Next question. How long is the course, and what are you planning to do after you're done? Opening your own company or still work for other companies for a few years? So my course originally was 3 years, so you do 3 years of study. I've turned mine into 4 years because I'm crazy, and I did 2 years, then a year in placement, so that's like being an intern for a year, and then I'm going to go back and do my 3rd year, so it's now 4 years. And each course runs from September, or each year runs from September through to May, when then you sit your exams, and within that there's like loads of different modules, I guess, or like subjects within that. There's usually like 4 to 6 or 7 or 8 different modules depending on what year you're in and what university you go to. So my course is currently 4 years, and after doing my placement year, I'm done my placement year from a venue side of events, so I've worked for a venue planning events in that specific venue, or multiple venues of that specific company. I think I want to flip it around a bit and try it from the other side. So I think I want to work for a big company like, I don't know, ASOS or JP Morgan or Tesco, something. Just imagine a big company. Most of those companies have an events team, and if not, they have someone that does their Christmas parties and their summer parties and their team building meetings and all of this stuff. I want to be that person, because I feel like I'll get to see the event from start to finish, not just from like the little bit I plan. I'll get to see it from start to finish. I'll get to attend the event. I get to attend tastings, choose the menu, choose the venue, choose the theme, pick out invitations. You know, you get to be a bit more creative with it, and they might come to me with a brief like Christmas party, and I can do whatever the hell I like, which is so exciting. So I'm hoping to do that for a bit. I haven't done it before. I mean, I've planned events, obviously, and I've done events, like I did an event for Sainsbury's and stuff when I worked there, like part-time behind the checkout. But yeah, it's a whole new territory for me. I haven't done it. So I'm very excited, very nervous, don't know if it'll work out. And then long term, I really can't see myself owning my own business. I know it sounds silly because there's so many like great opportunities you can get from having your own business, but it's just really not one of my goals. I really hope I don't get slated for this, but I really want to have a family, and I really want to be a good wife and a good mother and have my children. I sound like we're in bloody 1950, but that is something that I really want, and I know hundreds of people out there do the business and the family at the same time, but that's just not how I see it going. So I'd like to stay within a company, do events for a few years, and then perhaps go into like office administrator or like PA for someone or something like that, so it's a bit more flexible, because events are bloody hardcore. But yeah, that's kind of my plan. So I'm not going to be working for myself, I don't think, although it would be nice to choose my own like diary, like when I do and don't work. That would be great. Next question. Is it expensive? Apart from the fees, is everything else very expensive? So I'm just going to cover everything, so it's all in one place. the fees are, at the moment, I don't know if they'll change by the time you get there, but at the moment I think it's £9,250 per year for the course, and then you will get, or you can apply for a student loan, like a maintenance loan, and that's dependent on what your household income is. So like if your mum's on, like, I don't know, 25, 30k or something, that will alter what your maintenance loan is. So yeah, and if you go to university in London, you get a higher maintenance loan because the living cost is higher. Like, your shopping will be more expensive than it is in, like, Bournemouth, you know. So you've got those things to factor in. You can also apply for more student loan. So you can write in, like, if they say, oh, your student loan is going to be £5,000, but your rent is like £7,000, you can write in and be like, can you please give me more money? And then they just cross-check it with your income and your family's income, and then they'll approve it or not approve it, dependent on how they work that out. But yeah, it is pretty expensive. I'm obviously speaking from London University. I live in London, and it's expensive. Rent's expensive, food's expensive, and going out, if you're a party animal, London's great, but my god, you will spend a lot of money. I'm luckily a grandma at heart, so I don't have that issue. But yeah, it can be expensive, especially like with travel, because obviously it's quite hard to get places in London. Public transport is great, but like, you're just doing it all the time. But I feel it's just living on your own, like living, or not living on your own, but living away from home is expensive anyway, and you're going to have to do it at some point. But it's just, I mean, the government helps you out a bit by giving you some student loan. But yeah, I feel like people are accustomed to it. I mean, obviously don't go to London if you know you can't afford London, but eventually you will move out, and you're moving out like probably into accommodation, university accommodation, or like a house with other people, like a house share or something. So it's not as expensive as it could be, because right now I'm living just me and Christian, and it's expensive. But yeah, I feel, did that answer the question? Let me reread it. Yeah, so it's expensive, but I think the government take that into account in the sense, like, they'll give you a higher student loan dependent on where you are, and there's always opportunities to get jobs and make a bit more money in different loads of different ways. I mean, you can do like surveys online and get money, which is great. Okay, next question is very long. Is it possible to be accepted into uni if my background is in science? So I had quite a few of these questions saying like, oh, I was an architect, like I've just finished my architect degree, can I get into events and things like this? I would say yes. Obviously I'm not the university administrator or whatever, but events is very broad in the sense like it's business, economics, marketing, PR. Is that all of them? And something else, like all blended together. That's pretty much what events is. It's very business, media, marketing, economic, numbers orientated. That's it, like in a ball if you were to combine all those subjects. So obviously science doesn't come into that, but you've got the ability there of like doing research and being self-motivated and writing an essay and all of these things that tie into an event management degree, because I mean, at the end of the day, universities just want to know that you're going to be able to handle the workload. So if you've got any kind of education background, in the sense like higher education, they're going to be accepting of that. And I feel like if you're in the position where, I don't know, you're at GCSE, no, you're at A levels and you've done like biology, chemistry, physics and maths or something, you know, the maths one will come in handy, so that's fine. But if the others are very sciencey, I feel like just build upon your work experience. If you know you're going to get into events, that's the road you want to go down, just start like volunteering at different like charity events. Just get yourself involved in that industry, so then you can back yourself up with that, so you've got kind of like the educational skills of like, hey, I know how to write an essay and manage my time and work to a deadline, but also I've done this for real, like in the real world, and I have real life experience of how to run an event and how to organise it, and not necessarily how to run it, but how it runs. I've seen how it works. I know ways that I could improve it, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, you've got kind of like that full picture of knowledge and experience. Oh, this ties in really nicely. I'm in year 9 and I don't know what GCSEs to pick. So, just a recap of what I did, if I can remember. I did all the main ones, so like English, science, maths, religious studies, all of that. But I chose product design, art, Spanish, and there was one more. psychology. I don't know, but it was very kind of like artsy based, and another language, which can't hurt anyone. But yeah, so it was like art and product design were like the main two that I was interested in, and I actually went on to do product design at A level. But again, I feel like it's the whole just kind of like rounding you out as a person and learning the skills that you'll need that can be transferred in uni. So picking your GCSEs, I would say if you can pick business or media, that's what I did. If you can pick business or media or economics or something like that, that ties in. I don't know if they do economics at GCSE. Anyway, that ties in so well with the degree itself, and will set you up really nicely, because I know I did business and media A levels, and the business one was so relevant for first year, because obviously for people who there's a siren. Yeah, for people who hadn't done the business A levels, they kind of needed to recap that to catch everyone up to speed, so we were all like back at the same level. So I found that quite straightforward, because obviously I'd done it for 2 years already. So if you have that opportunity to do media, business or economics, I would definitely suggest that. But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world if you can't do that, because GCSEs are a very small part of your education. I know at the time, like in year 9, I was so stressed about my GCSEs. I put so much pressure on myself to get good grades or whatever, because I was that goody two-shoes. But it's just one part of it, because they really look at, obviously it helps if you have good GCSEs, but they do really look at your A-level grades. So depending on what A-levels you have, that might be more relevant. But GCSEs tend to be quite well rounded anyway, because you have to do all of the main ones. So yeah, if you can pick media or business or economics, something along those lines, great, but don't stress if you can't. Last question is, what are the subjects you need to ace on? Media, business, economics, if you have those. Honestly, any ace in a subject is great. Like, it will help so much, because at the end of the day, it is your personal statement and your grades that universities look at when you're applying. So I think for University of Greenwich, which is where I go, it was ABB, but I think I got ABC and then got it remarked to be ABB. Maybe it was ABC. No, I think it was ABC. So yeah, so you had a great range there. But yeah, I ended up getting ABB, which was great because the University of Greenwich have like a high achiever bursary. That's what they call it. And they give you money for doing well, like, throughout your university. Like, if you get those grades at A level, you can keep qualifying throughout your university to get money for being a high achiever. So my goody two-shoes paid off, apparently. But yeah, so any course you can ace, absolutely great, but there are so many universities out there which have different grade boundaries. Obviously, if you're going to bloody Oxford or something, which I don't even know if they do events management, but obviously you probably need A star, which in my world was not realistic. But any subject you can ace, great, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just try the best you can, because at the end of the day, there will be a university out there somewhere who will accept you. And if they don't, you don't necessarily need a degree to do event management. So we've come full circle. I have rambled for a very long time, but hopefully that has covered some of the subjects you are interested in. If you have any other event management questions or just university questions in general, do let me know. Like, put them in the comments, DM me, or whatever works best for you. I will get back to you. And also, I'm coming up with a university series that's going to be happening in September. I'm so excited for it, because I go back to uni on the 23rd of September, and I think most people go back to uni around then anyway, and my last day of work is the 30th of August, which is crazy, because I'm going to have like nearly 3 weeks where I won't be doing uni. So I'm hoping to cram out some YouTube stuff there, and I think the university series will be really great fun, because it's kind of where I picked up last time, was when I was at university, and you guys love those videos, so I'm going to be bringing them back with a vengeance. So I hope you can stick around for it. Make sure you're subscribed for that. But yeah, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I hope I will see you very soon.